ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोर्श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायिने कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नामिने गौरत्विषे नमः। पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकम्। श्रीकृष्णचैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्तवृन्द। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd Canto, 5th chapter, verse number 31. Sri Maitreya is answering to the questions of Vidura and explaining the creation of the universe. And he described how Lord, he created a disturbance or movement in the unmanifested matter by his glance, and then with the influence of time there were changes in the matter in the form of Mahatattva, which is cosmic intelligence, and then Ahankara or the I consciousness. And then from tamasic part of Ahankara, the Devas, the presiding deities, appeared, and also the material elements in their subtle form. So in this verse he explains the manifestation of Jnanendriya and Karmendriya, cognitive senses and working senses or the motor senses. Says Taisani indriyanyeva jnana karma mayani cha tamaso bhuta sukshma vidyataha kam lingamatmanaha. Says that the two types of senses, Jnanendriya and Karmendriya, they both came from the Ahankara predominated by Tejas, which means Rajas, and from the Tamasic the subtle elements came, and from that Shabda Tanmatra came the sky, or space, and that is the linga or indicator of the Supreme Person. So there are 2-3 things which are important in this verse. First is that the Jnanendriya, they have come from Tejas Ahankara. Although we know that knowledge comes from sattva, but the knowledge gathering senses have come from rajas. It is logical to understand that working senses will come from rajas because they have to do action, and action is the characteristic of rajas. But the sattvic senses, they also come from the rajasic ahankara. And then the material elements, they come from tamasic ahankara. And then he gives the process of the gross elements, and the first one which comes into existence is the space or sky, because before anything else is produced there has to be space for them. And the space is a linga. Linga is a technical word here which is used in Indian logic. That is to infer something which is not visible to us. Like the popular example of inferring fire by seeing smoke. Wherever there is smoke, there is fire. And if you see smoke in a faraway place, on some house or mountain, then you can immediately know that there is fire in that place. So smoke is called a linga. It's like we have Shivalinga. So Shivalinga means it is indicator of Lord Shiva. It is a symbol by which we can understand his presence. Just as by seeing smoke, we can understand that there is fire. So similarly, by the sky, he says, Kam lingam atmana. From sky we understand the Lord. Because sky is pervading like the Lord. Sky is supposed to be all pervading, and Lord is also omnipresent. So in that sense it is considered as a linga.
Indicator.
Yes. And then it is also indicator in the sense that sky is produced by the Lord. In the Shruti there is a statement that Tasmadva etasmada akasho jayate, that from him came sky. So just as by seeing a sun, you understand that there must be father also. The son cannot take birth without father. Or by seeing a tree, you know that there must have been some seed before. So in the same way, if space is there, then there must have been some creator behind it. Unless we believe that things happen by themselves. Because science says that there is no need of creator, things are happening. But inference does not support that. Inference says that whatever is created, then there must be a creator. So either you say that sky is not created, and if it is not created, then we can understand that there is no creator. But if you accept that sky is created, then there must be a creator, because everything is created by somebody. Nothing we see which happen by itself. Because in our daily experience we see things all around us, they have been created by somebody. So similarly, things which are existing before we are born or before the whole humanity is born, then that also must have been created by somebody before our existence. So inference, of course, is utilized to know about things which are beyond our direct perception. Because the problem with direct perception is that we can only perceive things directly which are in present time. Cannot perceive anything which happened in the past. Because something which happened in the past, how can we perceive it now? To have direct perception of something, that object has to be contacted by our sense. And if that object or activity happened in the past, then it cannot contact my senses. So how do I know about it? Then there are other processes. One is by hearing from somebody who is authoritative, means you trust his word, then you can come to know. Or you can infer by seeing something which is present now. And by seeing that you can infer something which happened in the past. Like you go to the forest and you see ashes on the ground. So by seeing that you infer that somebody must have made fire here. So the fire is not there, smoke is also gone, but the ashes are lying on the ground. So by seeing that we make an inference that somebody made fire here. So that is called linga in Nyaya language. So he is saying that the kha, the sky is called kha in Sanskrit. So that he says is the linga for the Lord, for God, for Creator. So there are two types of kha we experience. One is called sukha, another is called dukkha. Sky is called here kham. So there are two types of kham. We have sukham and dukkha. Right? So sukham means, kham means sky, space, and su means nice. So what is called sukham, happiness, means nice space. And dukkham means bad space. So actually happiness and misery are nothing but some space, good or bad. Now sky is not good or bad, but we interpret it. So it's only in the mind. Because there is space in the mind. Space is everywhere. So something we call as sukham and dukkam. It's an interesting word. Sanskrit words are very interesting because they have a lot of knowledge in them. Just the word. If you can analyze the word, you can understand many things. So sukham and dukkam, if you analyze the word, it's actually kham. And kham is sky. Space. So it is only a material element. And actually space is neither happy nor distressful. But we interpret it like that. So therefore the same thing can be happiness for somebody and distress for another person. Or it can be happiness for you now and it could be distress for you tomorrow. And vice versa. Because it is space, it is only kham, and you can make it as sukham or dukkham, as you like. And if you know the art of interpreting or you have control, you can also change sukham into dukkham. I was just reading this book which Rama brought, this Buddha. The life story of Buddha. It's very interesting how Buddha attained perfection, and then how he started preaching. So there is one story about one of his disciples. He made many disciples. It's amazing how he made so many disciples in those days, 2500 or 600 years ago. And there were no means of communication, and he was only walking from one place to another place, but he made hundreds and hundreds and thousands and kings. And so one businessman has come from Maharashtra, and he was in a place called Shravasti in Bihar, which is towards Bengal. Before Bengal is Bihar. And there he heard about Buddha. So one day he also went to hear his lecture, and he was very impressed. So whatever money he made, he gave it to his friend, and he said, "You take it, and I am becoming a bhikshu, monk." So he took Diksha and he became a monk. And he was working very hard, and he learned. And then he thought that Buddha is preaching, because Buddha preached only in this part of the country, mainly north and east. He never went to south India. So he asked Buddha that, "I would like to give the benefit of your teachings to people in Maharashtra." So Buddha said, "Okay, but before you go, I want to test you." He says that people of Maharashtra are very hard. Maratha, no? Tough guys. Says they will abuse you. Then what will you do? You will try to preach to them, and they will abuse you, call you bad names. So he says, "Oh, if they do that, I will think that they are nice people. At least they are not slapping me. They are only abusing me verbally." So then Buddha said, "What if they slap you?" So then I will think they are very nice people. They are only slapping me. They are not hitting me with a stick. So then he asked, "What if they hit you with a stick?" Says, "Then I will still think that they are nice people, because they are not attacking me with a weapon." And says, "What if they attack you with a weapon?" Says, "Well, I think I will still consider them nice people, because they have not killed me." And then Buddha said, "What if they kill you?" Says, "Well, I will still be grateful to them. Then they have made me free from this material body." So Buddha was so impressed by him, he blessed him. He says, "I am very pleased with you. You are so humble. You are qualified to go and give this knowledge." So the story is amazing, because it's just a way how you adjust your mind. Somebody gives you abuse, you can get very upset, angry, fight, and for the rest of life you can consider this fellow as your enemy. And the other fellow will also do the same to you, and both will waste the time just by hearing some sound. Or you can think that he is only abusing me and not slapping me, and you don't feel disturbed. So this is the meaning of kham. Space. So if somebody abuses you and you just feel spaced out, not react. So that is about the word kham. And lingam means linam artham gamayati lingam. Lingam means that thing which teaches you about something which is hidden. That's why it is called linga. So Sivlinga is teaching that behind this there is the hidden God. That is the so sky, therefore linga. Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti says Indriyani Tejasani Eva iti anvaya. There is one word here, Eva. That Eva means only. So he says that senses are only made from Rajas Ahankar and not from Sattva. Why Eva is used only? Says to remove any doubt. He says Jnanendriyanam Jnanmayanam Satvikatva Ashanka Ma Bhutiti Eka. So that one does not have a doubt that the senses which give us knowledge, they should come from Satvik Ahankar, Sattva Guna. So for that reason it says that it is only from Rajas. So a popular question is asked, because mind comes from Satvik Ahankar and intelligence comes from Rajasic Ahankar. So this question is asked that if Rajasic Ahankar is giving rise to intelligence and mind, then how intelligence can be superior to mind? Or how intelligence can control mind? Because Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Indriyani Paranyahu Indriyabhya Paramana Manusastu Para Buddhi. That buddhi or intelligence is superior to mind. But Sattva Guna is superior to Rajas. So, Parthivat Daruna Dhume Tasmad Agni Traimaya Tamsastu Rajsa Sattvam Yad Brahma Darsana. So he says that Tamas, Rajas is superior to Tamas and Sattva is superior to Rajas. Because in Sattva one can have Brahma Darsana. So how that mind which comes from Sattva can be inferior to Buddhi which comes from Rajas? So same thing is said here, that Jnanendriya are coming from Rajas and not from Sattvic. The reason is that if somebody has to control, then controlling is by Rajas. And mind senses and gives knowledge. The senses, the Jnanendriya, they are contacting the sense object, and then they, with respect, when they contact the mind, then you know knowledge arises. And this has to be controlled, and buddhi is needed for that. There has to be Rajasic. Like in Varnashram system, Kshatriyas are controlling. They are Rajasic. Brahmanas have the knowledge. But they have to remain under the control of the king. That is another thing, that the king is giving them respect. But king is the ruler. So therefore he says that to remove this doubt, that Jnanmayanam Satvikatva Ashanka, that if you have a doubt that senses which give knowledge must come from Sattva, therefore the word Eva has been used, that no, they come from Tejas or Rajas Ahankar only, certainly. And Tamaso Bhut Suksamasya Sabdasya Adikaram. And Tamas Ahankar, Tamogun, that is the cause for subtle elements, beginning with Shabda. And Yataha Shabdat Kham Akaso Bhavti. And because from the Shabda, Akas or sky or ether is generated. Atmanaha Parmeshwarasya Lingam. He says that the sky is the linga of Parmeshwar. And he gives a reason. This is a very nice reason. He says Parmeshwarasya Lingam Swagun Shabda Rupena Prakashakam. This is a very nice reason. He says why the sky is called linga of Lord. He says because in the sky there is sound. And we hear sound and we understand about God by hearing. Shabda Brahmani Nishnatam Parabrahma Adhigachati. Lord says that I have two forms. Shabda Brahma, my sound form, and Parabrahma, my transcendental form. Now the transcendental form Parabrahma is not known to us because our senses cannot sense him. He is transcendental. Rishikesh, Adhokshaja. So how do we know him? Then he has another form, that is Shabda Brahma. So by hearing we understand about him. And therefore sky becomes the means to know the Lord. If we do not hear about Lord, then we will not know him. Just like Buddha. He is an atheist, but he did not hear from anyone.
But you said that sound is in tamas?
Yes. Comes from Shabda Tanmatra comes from tamas.
Okay. My whole geography of these gunas is upside down. Because I was thinking that sattva is superiors for some reason, then middle and tamas. And then now in tamas, the sounds, which is the most important to realize God, is in tamas. And on which side we have to consider?
Yeah, it is inferior, but you will understand the meaning only if you are in sattva.
So there is just a mean there. Okay.
If you are not in sattva and you are in tamas, then you will not understand the meaning.
Okay.
So it is the sky which is generated from Shabda Tanmatra and then carries the sound. But it does not mean that the sound is material or tamasic. Sound can also be sattvic. That is not necessary. These modes are a little complicated. And then there also can be transcendental sound. Of course, transcendental sound travels through transcendental medium, but it is also manifest when we hear it through our ears, like the holy name is spiritual, transcendental, but it also is heard through the ears and through the space. So therefore it says Atmanaha Parmeshwarasya Lingam Swagun Sabdarupena Prakasakam. That it illuminates or reveals the Lord through its own quality of sound, because sound is the quality of the ether or sky, Akash. This is also difficult to understand, that sky has a quality. Usually it looks like that ether has no quality, because it has no form, no taste, no touch, no smell, but it has sound. So that is its quality. And quality means it is present in it. So then, of course, the whole philosophy comes from there, that how the word is eternal are not lost. It's present in the sky because sky is present. Sky is present and the sound is also present. There is a lot of debate on this between Purvimamsakas and Naiyayikas. और he says यद्वा तस्माद् वा एतस्माद् आत्मनः आकाशः सम्भूत इति श्रुतेर आत्मकार्यत्वाद् आत्मज्ञापकम्. Or the other meaning is that in the Shruti it is said that from Atma or the Lord the sky was generated. The Advaita Vedanta has its own description of the creation. Here we are hearing that there was Prakriti, then Mahatattva, then Ahankar, and then Ahankar has three divisions, and from the Tamasic Ahankar came the 5 Tanmatras, and from Sabda Tanmatra came Akash or the ether. But in the Shruti there is a statement that ether came directly from the Lord. Tasmadva etasmadva atmane akasha sambhuta. And the Advaita Vedanta accepts it as it is, and therefore their philosophy is that from Atma or Brahman came Akash, and then the other material elements, and then these material elements got combined, and from that came the senses and the body and the mind. The process is different. So he is quoting this Shruti statement, Upanishad. I think it is from Taittiriya Upanishad. And since Akash is born from the Lord, then it is definitely the linga for the indicator. It gives us information, because whenever there is a cause, there has to be an effect. Every cause gives rise to effect, and if you see the effect, then you can also infer the cause. Because effect cannot come into existence without cause. And according to Satkaryavad, the cause is also there in the effect, and effect is also there in the cause. So by seeing the effect, we know the cause, and by seeing the sky, we know the Lord, who is the cause. So that's why he's called Linga. And in the next verse, he says, Kal Maya Ansha Yogena Bhagavad Vikshitam Nabhaha Namaso Anushritam Sparsham Vikurvan Nirmame Anilam. Then the Lord, he looked at the sky with the combination of Kala, Maya and Ansha. Kala is time, and then Maya is the external energy, and Ansha is the zero. So with these three he looked, and then from came Sabdatan Matra combined with sky, gave rise to the Sparstan Matra, or the touch. That is the next thing. And from that came air, the next element. So then the air comes into existence. But three things are necessary. There is time and Maya, and Ansha refers to the Jiva. So time is a very important factor in all creation. Without time, it is not possible that anything happens. And Maya has to supply the material. Maya is two types, the Upadana and Nimitta. There is the material which is supplied, and then there is the efficient or instrument. So both are present, then the next thing happens. So that means it is possible to create air from the space. So there is wind god, and if he gets angry, he can bring a storm. So he must know the art of creating air suddenly, or transforming the air back into space. So these things are interlinked. As Einstein said, that time and space, they can be interchanged. This is the theory he gave. So this is Sankhya also accepting that if somebody has the power, then he can create more and more air. Then he can purify the atmosphere by creating more oxygen from the sky, because you need Kal and Maya, and the person there is Amsha. Then you can create. So here it is said that it is only the Lord who did it. So maybe only God has this power to do, and not anybody else, unless he gives this power, because very clearly it is mentioned here, Bhagavad Vikshitam Nabha, that when Lord glanced on the Nabha or the Akash, this sky Tanmat. Nabha Kartri Nabhasa Swasmad Anushritam Udbhutam Sparsham Vikurvan Rupantaram Prapayat Sat Anilam Nirmam. So he says Nabha Kartri, that the sky is the doer here, and from that followed the touch, and then from that came the air, because this feeling of touch is possible only with the help of air. The sense we have in the skin, the hair, and then there is a sense of touch, and air is necessary for that. It's like for hearing, the sky is necessary. So in the same way, air is necessary for feeling. एवं सर्वत्र तन्मात्रा द्वारा भूतोत्पत्ति ज्ञान. So he says that the same we should understand, that everywhere the element is generated from the tanmatra. Tanmatra is the subtle thing, and element is the gross. So the previous tanmatras and the tanmatra of that particular element combined, plus this time, Maya, Ansha, and the glance of the Lord, this is how they are created. So then he just gives a list. Aniloapi vikarvano navso uru balanvita sasarja rupa tanmatram jyotir lokasya lochana. So when the air was there, the wind, vayu, so that tanmatra, it further transformed with the combination of ether, air combined together, then they gave rise to Rupa Tanmatra, the Tanmatra of the form. Then form came into existence, which you could see, and then there was fire and the eyes, Lokasya Lochanam, which sees, it also came into existence. नवसा सहितम स्वयं च उरु बलान्वित रूप तन्मात्रात् ज्योतिरभूत लोकस्य लोचनम प्रकाशकम. So he says that when the air is considered as powerful, Uru Balanvita, Hanuman is the son of wind god, so he is very powerful, because air has the power. Without air, you don't have any power. So it is called here as Balanvita, strength. And Anilo api Ukarvana, you have seen when people, when their Vata is disturbed, how much power they have, right? जब वात कुपित हो जाता है तो कितना चीखते चिल्लाते हैं, देखें पेशेंट. So that is because of the disturbance of the air, and they are very active, hyperactive, hyperactivity because of the air disturbance. So then this combined, these two tanmatras combined gave rise to the third tanmatra of form and the jyoti or the light, and by that we see things. Without light the eyes cannot see. And then the fourth, anilena anvitam jyotir vikurvat paravikshitam adhatta ambho rasmayam kalmayan sayogata. Then the air combining with fire, Roop Tanmatra and Shabda Tanmatra and Spars Tanmatra, they all combined, and when they were glanced by the Lord, then the water came into existence. And water is Rasmaya, it has taste. If you have eaten Bhandara in India, then when they give salt, they don't call it salt, they call it Ramras, right? You heard this? Salt, Ramras. So why salt is called Ramras? Because salt is coming from water, and rasa is the taste. Ram, ras. So it says Rasmayam. ठीक है? Salt comes from water, and without salt there is no taste. So it is the Ramras, and Krishna says that Rasam Apsu Kaunteya, that among the water I am the Rasa. That's why it is called Ramras. Because Krishna says he is the Rasa. So Ram is named for Krishna. Instead of calling it Krishna Ras, they say Ramras. So Ramras means that this Rasa is coming from Krishna, from the water. So water is called Rasmaya. Because without water there is no taste. In fact, you cannot taste anything without water. If taste has to come, then water has to be there. So you cannot taste a stone because it does not dissolve. To taste something, it has to be first dissolved. That's why we have our tongue which is wet. So anything you eat, even if it is dry, it has to be tasted, it has to be first mixed with the saliva and made liquid. Then only the taste comes. Right? So that's why water is called Rasmaya. So there are various types of rasas. People are talking about rasas and rasika bhaktas. So this Rasmaya, actual Rasmaya is water. And this also he says Kal Maya Ansha Yogata, with a combination of Kala, Maya and Ansha. In the time, Maya and Ansha. Rasmayam Rasguna Ambha Adhatte Asrijat. Rasmaya means that it has the characteristic of taste. Because fire does not have taste. You cannot taste fire. Somebody says, oh, I tasted fire. Then that does not have a meaning. It is a meaningless sentence because you cannot taste fire. You can only feel fire because fire has got the quality of touch and also form. But water can be tasted. Especially if it is salty water of Vrindavana. You can very well taste that. Then the next one comes the smell, the fourth one. Jyotishambhanu sansrishtam vikurvad brahma vikshitam mahim gandhagunamadhat kalamayam yogatah. Says when the jyoti or the fire element, when it got combined with the previous ones and was glanced by the Lord, Brahma Vikshitam, then came the Prithvi Tanmatra, the earth subtle element. And then from that came the earth. And from earth, the characteristic of smell, Gandha Guna, Adhata, Kala Maya Ansha. With the help of time, Maya and Ansha, same thing is applied everywhere. Then it came into existence. So if you read Yoga Sutra, then in Yoga Sutra there is a lot of description about the Siddhis. Right? There is a Vibhuti Pad. There are 4 chapters in the Yoga Sutra, and one of them is called Vibhuti Pad. It is only talking about the Vibhutis, the powers. Like Krishna is describing his Vibhutis in the 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Vibhuti Yoga. So these powers come because of meditation. By meditating on different elements, one can get this power. So they have this type of powers are described, that you can create fragrance, become small, big. So it is possible because you can change one element into another one. It's a matter of changing. If one knows how to do it. And now science is also willing to accept these things, because when they are dealing with quantum physics and the level of atoms, and below that even electrons, protons, neutrons and photons and so many toms. So they are also very interesting. They have understood that how these things don't follow the regular law. And it is possible to create anything from anything. You can actually make gold from garbage. It's just a matter of changing the structure of the molecules. And if it can be done, then you can turn one thing into another. And then you can make water from gas by changing the structure. So this is also described in the yogic powers. Because if you understand Sankhya, you know that one thing is changing into another. So cause is going into effect and effect is going into cause, and if you know how to manipulate, then you can change. So everything has got the possibility of being transformed into anything. And every element, that particular element is manifest. Say in water, the water element is manifest, and the other ones are also there, but they are not prominent, or they are in unmanifest state. They can also become manifest. So then if you hear that yogi was there and suddenly he can appear somewhere, he can change his physical constitution, because these are earthly elements and there is water, you can turn it into air and go and then again manifest. So from Sankhya we can understand how it is possible. So there is no comment on this verse. Sansrishtam Sanyuktam. Then next one says Bhutanam Nava Adinam Yad Yad Bhavya Avaravaram Tesham Parana Sansargad Yatha Sankhyan Gunan Viduru. It says that, O Vidura, please know that all these elements, beginning with the sky and going down, they are high and low, and their qualities are increasing from higher to lower, because the sky has got only one quality. Qualities, they exist in matter, substance. So sky is a substance, and sound is the quality. So this quality of sound exists in this element, it doesn't exist anywhere else. So there is only one quality. And then when you come to air, then air has got two qualities in it, the quality of touch and quality of sound. And then water has got, fire has got three qualities, the sound, touch and form, because you can also see fire burning. And then water has got one more extra quality of taste. And then earth has got one more extra quality of smell. So these are the extra quality. Just like in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, they are described that you have Shantaras, Dasyaras, Sakhya, Vatsalya, and then Madhurya. And each one has one extra characteristic. So it's just like these 5 elements. So the lower one has got more quality, or that which is coming later on has extra quality. So that is being described here. It says para anusansargad yatha sankhyam gunan vidu. Tesham para anusansargad. Then the previous one combines with the next and then it has an extra quality. So Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, He bhavya vidura, or vidura bhavya iti pathe bhavyam karyam navhadinam madhye. Or the reading could be bhavya, which means the created elements. So among the navha, sky, etc., yad yad avaram vayavadikam tesham karyanam paraihi karanair anusansargat anvayat yaya sankhya taya gunan viduriti yatha sankhya nipsayam avyabhava. So he says that the previous one has less number of qualities and the later which comes has more qualities, and we should know this yatha sankhya means correspondingly. Then the first one has 1, second one has 2, and the third one 3, and so on. तेन वायोरेकं नभैव कारणमिति स्वस्य कारण अन्वितत्वे द्वित्व संख्या इति द्वौ शब्दस्पर्शो गुणौ एव तेजसो द्वौ नभो वायुकारण इति तदन्वितत्वे स्वस्य त्रित्व संख्या इति त्रयो एव गुणा एवं अभ्यसश्चत्वार पृथिवी पंच. So it's basically just written that how the first one has 1 quality, second one has 2, and so on. And the fifth one, earth, has got the 5 qualities in it. So this is the description in brief. More detailed description will come later on, because here he has not given the characteristic of the mind and intelligence and Mahatattva and Vaikarika and who are their deities. Later on when Lord Kapila will speak Sankhya, then he will explain that what is the function of mind, what is the function of intelligence, what is the function of ego, what is the function of chitta, along with the elements and their qualities, which he has also mentioned, and who are the deities for them, and the senses and the functions of the senses, which are, he did not list the senses here, so there all the senses will be listed and the function of each sense will be described. So there is more detail there. This is like a preview of Sankhya, which is coming later. Now there are prayers because along with this he also said that these devas came into existence. So these devas, they came into existence and then they will pray to the Lord, because without his grace this body cannot function, individual body as well as the cosmic body. So all the body was created but it did not work. So to make it work, then they prayed to the Lord. So just like in India, if they build a house, then they do puja first. When the house is built, then they do puja. If you buy a car, then you also do puja for the car. Now it may look very strange from the Western point of view, but it is a fact in India. You buy a new car, when it comes to the house, first you do puja to the car. So you may wonder, what is this doing puja to the car? Previously, when there were no cars, and we used to buy some bull or cow, when it came into the house, then we have to do puja for that. I remember this. Now, or horse or camel, now those things are not used. You are buying car or motorcycle or anything, and they are doing puja to this also. So you may wonder, what is this puja of the house, because it is made of bricks, and puja to the ground, and what is the puja for the car? And people have their shop, they do puja for their that instrument which they use, the balance. If you have seen, they also do puja for that. So why this puja is being done? Because there are deities for everything, and beyond everything is the Lord. So here also all these elements came into existence, and they are lying down, nothing is working. So the deities of these, they stood up and they prayed to the Lord that please bless us so that we can function properly. So we will read that tomorrow.
So, if I have understood properly, there is no any place which is void. Because I was under the idea that sky is just empty. But actually,
Well, sky is empty, but if you consider sky as an element, then there is nothing which is empty.
that's because it has quality, so it must be substance actually.
Yeah, when we say empty means when there is nothing but space.
Okay.
Then we say it is empty.
In the Srimad Bhagavatam, Shukadeva Goswami says that Mahatattva is shunya, which means empty. So, I don't believe in nothingness, for example, or in void. I don't believe in that. I think that everything exists. Everything has to exist.
Means not manifest.
Shunya.
Just like this room is there. So if there is nothing in this room, still there is air, right? So that is one element. Then if you put music, that is another element filling the whole room. If you put one agarbatti, incense, and there is fragrance, but you will say, well, the room is empty. So we think only if you put table, chair and people, then the room is full. So you can say it is shunya like that. It's relatively.
What about this glance of the Lord into the sky? This glance is also some kind of element, or it's just
It
energy?
is desire.
Desire.
It's like they're having this book now, the book of the secret. say that you attract things by your thoughts, right? Right? So Lord is also doing that in things. So kamayat, he desired. Ekoham bahusyam prajayeya. And one, let me be many, and I create. So that is glance.
You said
It's like we also say sometimes when you have to do something, then you say, I have not given my attention to it yet, or I have not fixed my mind on it. Same thing.
Then when the Lord fixed the mind on the sky, the things happen.
you said that there is a debate on Mimamsakas and Naikas regarding sound being in space. You said
Sound being eternal or temporary.
sorry, what?
Whether sound is eternal or temporary. The Mimamsakas say that sound is eternal, so it is always there. And Nyayikas say that how it is always there, you speak and then you don't hear it. So they are debating.
When they say sound, is there any difference between, for example, the first sound that came in the universe was tapa, for example, the first record of any sound. So is this sound different from the sound that is in the Mahatattva?
According to Purvamimamsakas, no.
So if so, what is sound? When they say that sound, they say it's with space in Mahatattva, but not here,
No,
because
here.
sound is coming from.
No, they say that here in the space there is sound.
Maybe in the sense that everything is vibrating. This is accepted by.
Yeah, they say that it is always existing. Only thing is when you speak, you make that manifest. This is the logic they give. It's just like if the room is dark and the objects are there but you don't see them, when you bring the light on, then you see the objects. So light has not created them, it is only making you see them. So in the same way they say that when we are using our tongue to speak words, we are not creating words, but we are making them manifest which are already existing in the sky. This is like
There would be a difference between the information, of the words and the sound itself.
and that is meaning, what meaning you get from it. They are talking about the sound. The words, what they mean, that is another thing, and what you understand from them. That is a different process.
And in our school, what's the conclusion of the acharyas, for example? What's the position? Because we take things from different schools, so.
Well, at least the spiritual sound is eternal.
Yeah, we know that, yeah. At least,
And the other one, they have not read anything about it, but I guess they will follow what Mimamsakas are saying. Because they say the same thing when we are chanting the name of God, say Krishna. Then our philosophy is that we are actually not chanting it. It is becoming manifest.
Yeah,
Right?
sure. Yeah, sure, he's right.
So this is the same philosophy as Purvamimamsakas is saying. He says that it is becoming manifest.
So when we read that our theory is Parinamavada, when we discuss, Vivartavada or Parinamavada, when we say Parinamavada, it means expansion. But you said that something, when you were discussing about the creation of things, you said that ether comes from space, right? Is this correct? You said that something comes. What's
Ether
the?
comes from tamasic ahankar.
But yeah.
The ether comes from, there are two things. You are talking about the tanmatra, there is tanmatra ether and there is an element ether. And then there is sound, which is the quality of element ether. So first there is tanmatra, the subtle ether. Tanmatra means subtle. And that comes from the ahankara, tamasic ahankara. And from sabda tanmatra or subtle ether comes the gross ether element, akash. So the word akasha is used both for the element and for tanmatra.
So, but everything comes, so there is no, all the tanmatras, they exist eternally, simultaneously. The tanmatras, they exist simultaneously. They are not created from one from the other.
They come from the ahankara. No, but here it is different. There are two views on this. But here in Bhagavatam, if you see, it says that the tanmatra came into existence. That first there was sabda tanmatra, and then when Lord looked, then spars tanmatra came into existence. Touch.
Is there any graphical description of the creation? Because I was reading a book of in Vedic physics and so many of these Sankhya things, but I can't quite understand how to represent it in the mind, because it's very far out, It's where this happens. This is by the agency of Lord Brahma. Any idea? Are the deities that create?
Say your question again, I did not get it.
Yeah, when I have a hard time trying to understand and have a picture of the idea of our idea of creation when I read things like when it says the senses became manifest. There is like a simultaneous appearance of the object of the senses, but when is this happening?
So that
And where?
when it is happening at the beginning of creation. This is Lord is creating it. And then Brahma will come into existence and he will use these things to create further. So this is created by the Lord himself. At least that's how it appears, because it says Bhagavad Vikshita. He's not saying that Brahma is doing it. So this is the cosmic creation. And Lord creates these cosmic elements, cosmic body. And then Brahma uses this to create further. So it's cosmic elements, cosmic mind, cosmic intelligence, cosmic ear, cosmic nose, cosmic earth. All these elements are created by the Lord himself. This is all at cosmic level. And these deities are not the deities of this Varuna, Indra, Chandra, etc. These are the deities of these elements, because they will be created later on. They are created after Brahma. These moon god, sun god, water god become Indra, etc. later on. This is before that.
There are different sets of deities also.
So many deities.
it's inconceivable, I believe, right?
Yeah. I think what they are giving again here is just like a hint. This must have so many details. It's probably somebody becomes realized in this field, he will know, like Kapila, he must know. He's giving he's speaking to his mother.
No, that says everything, yeah.
So same way Maitreya is speaking here to Vidura. So, but the person who is speaking, Maitreya or Shukadeva Goswami, they must know so much more detail. And now basically they are speaking for our sake, that a common person can grasp this much idea. But I think for everything there must be hundreds of steps. Like when you say that, God said, let there be creation, and there was a creation. But it doesn't mean that it just happened. Everything has to happen the way it should be created. That one element, all the elements have to come together. So those details are not given here. Somewhere some extra detail are given, somewhere something new is said. Another thing is that different descriptions are also given in the Upanishads and here. So from that it also appears that sometimes the creation may be done differently. Because like this Upanishadic statement that the sky is created by the Lord directly. Tasmadva etasmadva akasa brahma atmanah jayate. So it is also possible that sometimes Lord does not create akasha through Mahatattva like that, He creates it directly.
Akash can't be understood as the universe, the space?
Yeah, universal space.
I think Bhaktivinoda, something like that Bhaktivinoda Thakur mentioned in Shaiva Dharma.
And this is the cosmic creation I'm saying, it is the complete creation. Now also when he is creating water and earth, where are they existing at that time? Where is the water? Okay, Akash, no problem. Air also no problem. Fire, where is the fire? Is it in one corner of the universe or all over? So difficult. And then the earth is created. Where is this? He's not talking about just this earth. It's all the solid matter, which is also on the other planets.
So the Gita says that, in the Gita says that fire comes from wood, right? Something like that. Is it possible? I think I read in the Bhagavad Gita that fire comes from wood. It's there. Wood. It's like an inherent potency of wood, fire.
Wood.
Good.
Wood.
Good.
Yeah.
Wood.
Yeah.
Wood.
Yeah. I'm not that English.
No, I understand.
Yeah.
I'm also not.
Yeah.
I also
I apologize.
It's alright.
I don't have to apologize.
Good.
We do it all the time. Yeah, fire also comes from the woods. So what is the question?
No, that's when you were saying that, but where is fire? And I think that Krishna mentions that it comes from. It was just maybe you can confirm. I don't know.
No, fire comes from wood. That is no problem. It is written, but the wood also comes from fire. That is what they are saying now. Because first fire, and then earth.
Yeah.
So wood is like earthly element.
But at the same time, we understand that everything exists simultaneously.
You see, now is another thing, that these elements are all pure elements, and what we see here, water, earth, fire, they're all mixed. So there is this panchikaran.
That makes more sense, yeah.
Yeah. So Lord creates the original elements and then Panchikaran is done and then Brahma uses them to create.